So just kind of to set everybody off, what I did Meteor create leaderboard -lm, and then I gave the initial prompt to build up some coding rules.
Yeah.
So that it kind of knows what it's doing.
Can you just make this a little bit bigger, because I think
even bigger.
Was it the default React project, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can you guys in the chat see this? Can you guys hang on? Let me just.
Yeah. While we wait for the responses, so it kind of generates like the default thing. I haven't really checked it. I just did a really quick check, added here that it should use subscribe and use find hook and use methods.
Okay, what are these, Jan? Because for example, I didn't do that when I set up my Copilot. So can you just explain to me what this is?
So these coding rules are kind of rules that the LM should follow. So that kind of keeps consistent code. But it also here, I've specifically said that it should include links to the documentation for the different things. And the other thing I changed here was that it uses the for simple schema, our simple schema, not the simple schema. That's the npm package. And kind of a little bit more because it likes to be chatty. That's one of the annoyances there, but it kind of describes how things should look, what should be, for example, the naming conventions, so that it doesn't name each file differently all the time.
Okay, so if you don't set storyteller background. So we're using Windsurf, and what's the model that you're using behind it?
Right now, I have selected Claude 3.7.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if we want to change that.
No, let's stay with that. We just want to make sure there's questions in the audience. We just want to make sure that they know what we're using.
I have one more question before we start. So if you wouldn't have this coding rules page, it would simply, I don't know, we would come up with the most frequently used things it has been trained with, and then would give you some express routes or what I can imagine, right?
For example. It would try to kind of guess from the context every time what it's trying to do. So
okay, so you're take longer. With these rules, you're creating a context for the model. Okay, great.
Yeah, specifically saying this is React, Meteor 3.2, and all that stuff.
Okay, so this is like our system prompt.
Yep.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, like a system prompt basically tells the big LLMs, like what is the constrained context that we're working in, so that you get, you get things that are more related to the subject that you're inquiring about. All right.
Oh, so we have just the basic project, nothing fancy there. Let me also kind of move in here. Here is the command line, kind of have it aside so we have more. Let me see if I can make it bigger.
Yep, thanks.
So that we have that kind of aside, so we have more space here.
Okay.
So I'm here now in the write section, so I can start instructing it what to do. There's also legacy, but we'll stick with write. Where do we get started? We still have here, the default stuff. So
okay, so we did a Meteor create app, and so we have the basic skeleton that comes with when you create a first Meteor application, and this is React specific, right? So it's Meteor create. Okay.
I would start.
Go ahead, Kuster.
I would start with the collection to store the to-dos.
Wait, hang on a second. I think we're getting very low level here, right? Shouldn't we just be able to say, create a leaderboard application for me that, does X, Y, and Z?
Oh, true, because real Vibecoding would be too engineering style.
Yeah. No, let's not get into the specifics yet, right? Let's just kind of like say, all right, well, this is what the application is. This is who it's for, right? are we going to put permissions on this, or is it going to be a permission space item, or anybody can edit it?
Let's just go with anybody. We can we can add new features later if we even get that far.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm writing here. Let's create a leaderboard application. It's a one-page application. We want to have an option to add new items to the leaderboard and allow people to vote on them.
Are we when we're talking about the voting, are we allowing upvoting and downvoting, or just upvoting?
Let's see. At one point, I kind of want to make it simple so it doesn't overwhelm it.
Yeah.
But I think I would say, let's see how it interprets.
Okay.
We have a suggestion in the chat, by the way, from Victor.
Okay.
That from what he's read, it's a good first step to ask for a detailed plan stored in a file and then prompt to follow the plan step by step.
Yeah, let's do that at the end. We describe it here, then we ask it to write step by step how it's going to proceed, and what we can take it from there.
Yeah, so, Victor, thank you. I think one of the things we're trying to figure out here is, like, if you are coming for the first time and you are not an expert at this, and I'll just share what Victor has said so that it's not just thank you. I mean, this is good information. But I think for the most part, for the people that are coming for the first time, the question is, can they just, without doing any of those things, build a Meteor application? I apologize, guys.
Jan, there's something missing, and that is Meteor specific. We want to have the live updates in the leaderboard, because like the pops up is a very typical Meteor thing. And if someone chooses Meteor, then they usually want to have live updates. So I would suggest to, at least from a high-level perspective, add this. All the data should use Meteor
publication and subscription to be real time. Create step-by-step guide how you will build this. And right now, I have what you said. I moved to chat, so we can just quickly chat with it. So start by creating a step-by-step overview on how you will build this.
Do we have to specify anything about the UI? You've already hit return.
I think I've already specified it should be like one-page application. I've said it has to have the input, has to have the vote. So projects like creating Meteor projects, set up the base if we have that, configure necessary packages. Let's see this UI implementation. So main layout. Sorry, the model, create MongoDB collection for leaderboard items, define schema for items, name, score, etc. Set up publication subscription for real-time data. Create a main layout, implement leaderboard display component, add form for creating new items, add voting functionality. Configure Meteor methods for data manipulation, ensure real-time updates using Meteor's reactivity, implement optimistic UI updates, and then styling and polishing, add styling, implement responsive design, add animation for voting changes, testing and deployment. So it has like the steps pretty well done. It has here some, there's already made your project structured up. Let me examine the existing files to understand what's the working plan. So it kind of does the checking.
Wow.
And then it actually has here the data model set up. There's some errors because we are not in the right section. So I'm going to do here is put the final version of the plan into a instructions file. Let's do that if we can figure that one out, so that we follow the instruction from the audience. Instructions.md will be generated.
And is this the suggestion that Victor had about like what we should? Okay.
So the goal from what I've read and kind of said is that create the steps that it should follow, and then implement step by step, so that we can always potentially go back. If this was something more serious, I would have already set up a Git and kind of went step by step there. So
all right,
generating.
let's see what that looks like.
And let's.
Oh, there's a coding rules also that are created. Oh, those were your rules, right?
Yeah, no, well, it was created by, and I did some. So you have the project overview. You're building one application, allows you to view a list of items, sorted by score, add new item to leaderboard, where items upvote, downvote. So that's how I did it. See all changes in real time across all connected clients, and it has here already implementation steps on these. So let's keep changes. So it has already programmed it, so that's interesting.
Let's throw it all in and start.
Yeah, tell it to
okay. Implement first step.
So that would be the typical approach now, at least what is promoted. I've seen on the weekend. It's like, just write your stuff, throw it in. It's all working out. It's so awesome. Let's see how good it works.
How many steps are there? Do we know? I mean, you said implement the first step.
Yeah. So the number of steps is, this one is needlessly specific, 6. So right now it's starting with the data model setup. And I think it might have been gotten a little bit ahead of itself, but we shall see. So here we have, I'll just keep the changes for now. The API, so we have
using
publish.
Oh, you see that? Line 21.
Return leaderboard. Yeah, that's a very common thing. Even though I said it should be 3.2, it's still using the synchronous. So it does here this thing. It sometimes goes like a back to fix things. So one that I'll probably do here is force it to kind of put it into memory. That on the server it should use the async methods.
Okay.
And here we have it wants to run things, but I don't want to go here. So I'm going to do here. We are using Meteor 3.2. That means on
no fibers
server. Yeah, that means there are no fibers, and on server we need to use async methods.
MongoDB methods, I would say.
Use async MongoDB methods. Okay. Remember this. This is my attempt to see if it actually does, if it saves this into the memory.
You're absolutely right. Natürlich.
Well, this is specific with Cascade, that it has the kind of memory. So I have not yet really tested, like if I specifically say that it should remember, it actually adds it into the memory. So you can see it started adding here. We have the method is async. and it
Victor, yes,
properly
yes,
changed
it
that
did.
to-
Sorry,
Yes,
I was just responding to Victor. Go on.
yeah, so it now is updating all of
Mhm.
that into async here. And we don't want to run it yet. Let's see, because we also created this leaderboard, which I want to check out. So here we have new item names, set item name, we'll see what's about, and errors. And then we have the use tracker for, I subscribe. No. It did not follow its instructions. And this is actually a good
Oh yeah,
thing.
you said you subscribe, right?
Yes, so that's another thing. Sure, maybe if it might not know how to properly follow it. So, but I can do here at leaderboard here in the UI. Please use the proper hooks for subscribe and find. Also,
See, again, I think you're being a little too knowledgeable here, right? This is like where we run it, we see what the errors are, and then it's, you know.
The thing is, for a beginner, the vibe would be gone now because they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what the original methods to use are, and that's the whole point of it, right?
Yes,
You still have to know how things work.
yes,
If you don't know how things work, you can
yes.
vibe through these things, and then at the end you will get your payback immediately.
But okay, let's just say that we are somewhat familiar with Meteor, and you know, we're going to go with that right now. So this is
I think another part of this is that kind of through the first few, you need to be really strict and kind of, I would say, force it a little bit more to kind of be sure that it really it really is in the context of everything. And so this for example was clear that it was not following the coding rules, even though it built them, it was in the context. So so now I think from the vibe check, this looks much better. And why don't we try to run it and see if it actually runs?
Yeah. This has been like, what,
please.
5 minutes of coding, and let's see what happens.
How many minutes did we actually use? Like 10?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't look at when we started.
Let me check on the timeline here. Let me check. So let me check on the. Can I move it back?
We're
here?
an hour into the program right now, so
well,
you know.
look at that.
So at least it loaded the page. Are there any errors on the browser console or something?
No, that one is clear as well.
Well,
let's add some stuff to it.
Let's add a limb as an item. Okay, that works.
Wow, let's vote. Yeah.
We want to upvote a limb. Yes. It looks like it implemented multiple things. Maybe this was too easy for it. So.
No, it's okay. This was the reference, right? So let's see the download. Let's see the downloading. Item? Yeah, download a limb. Download a limb.
Why do we want to? That one works.
And it even does the sort dynamically too.
But and the stuff is really in the database, or is it just on the client side?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Let's check that out. Let me open up my compass over here. Let's see. We want the 3001. Let's connect. Here it is. Open Meteor. You have the leaderboards here, and it is here as well.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just continue implementation, and maybe you set the bar too low, because this has been like really one of the first examples. So let's
examine why this might have worked out well. First of all, This reference application that we're talking about, this leaderboard, the code exists in GitHub, right? So it is very possible that, you know, in terms of this LLM being trained, it has that. It's been trained on that code already. So it kind of knows. And this is one of those applications that people have written and rewritten many, many times. So my hope actually was that we should see something like this happen. Like it should be, you know, pretty close to you know, what's already been out there, because we're taking a reference application and we're basically saying build the same thing, right? And so if it has it, then we know that, okay, it slurped that somehow when it was training. So now the thing is, we could try something novel. Do we want to extend the time? Because I think this is interesting so far.
Yeah, I want to kind of let it finish what it's doing right now, the remaining steps. I'm curious if it will be able to add tests and other things, but go ahead, Jan. Yes.
I have something very novel, because that's really hard to implement, and that is prevent duplicate upvotes without authentication. The only way I think you can implement this is either by cookies, by local storage, or session storage.
So let's see. I just had it finished. So let's see what it's.
So we're just going to expand the capabilities of the default app, correct?
Well, first we are going to check what it did here when I told it to finish. So it did here like a leaderboard, and it started to kind of separating things even further. So maybe this is kind of like maybe if you keep it running too much. So let's do clean up the code, please. That it will start, and I've kind of seen this, that it can start get really wordy and doing more stuff than it needs to. So let's see what
does it mean when you tell it to clean up? What does it mean to the code tool?
So in this case, it tells you, I'll clean up the code by removing redundant files and ensuring our structure follows the coding standards. Let's start by removing the old leaderboard files since we are moved to modular structure.
Wow, so it does refactoring as it goes along.
Yeah, and I also want to see if it can clean up the original demo code that's been there by the collections, so like the initial setup, like the links, all that stuff. So
you see Victor has a query here, right? He's got a request. You know, maybe ask it to add authentication with email password to see if a more complex use case can be solved quickly.
Yes, so so the test there is, will it know that we have the accounts package?
Yes, exactly. Like, what will it do?
Exactly. Let's let it have finished the cleanup here and let it get back to a working order. Worst case, we'll have to revert, and hopefully it will not.
So now it's what it's doing right now, Jan.
So now it was supposed to clean up things a little bit, and it has not done that properly.
Wait, the publications file, where is that publications file included?
So
it
looks
looks
like
like
publications, API leaderboards. Let me jump back here. Okay, so
it's not on API. Look, I think publications.js. Maybe this one is included in the client. Take a look at the client.js file.
So we have the.
Why are we not seeing anything on the?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I want to do here.
Yeah. So
publish.
I think it's imported somewhere on the client, and it shouldn't be. The file shouldn't be imported on the client. And the question is, where is it? Maybe it's in the index.js. It's important on the client, or the so you have to check on client index.js or index.js. Sorry, no, client main.js.
Let's see if it can maybe fix this. This is kind of common that, whenever it moves into this modular, it likes to do the index.js, where it just puts everything even if it's not needed. Let's see if it can figure it out. Okay, so it knows it should be only available on the server side. And it knows it's doing that on the client side.
Let's make it more spaghetti here. Let's wrap it around some if clauses and it will run its
own code. Exactly as you said. It adds the if meteor is server.
Just wrap it, just do some spaghetti stuff. Awesome. I will get the sauce.
Exactly, Victor.
Now I can feel the vibes, Oh, man.
Let's see maybe if it did any... And it did this important...
I think that's what the thumbnail should have been. It's just like we sit down, you have a plate of spaghetti, there's a thing that says code, and then you have a jar of sauce next to it.
Just let us and some robot. Come on, let's do another thumbnail this week. Just us and a robot, and we all have these big spoons and big forks and a huge pot of spaghetti and all pouring around it.
Okay, but we are back to working, so let's keep that, and let's kind of move on to the next step. In the next...
Wait, so we know it's working? I mean, we just know that it's showing up again. We don't know that it's working.
It's
it's
there.
Working. Okay, all right.
And it only fixed the... we can add here Jan K. As well, so that's fine.
Okay, okay, yeah.
The next step, let's implement user accounts.
Do you see the comment from Victor?
So security holes. Yes. There's actually what already has happened because some of the Vibecoders implemented SaaS, and of course, people very quickly, did a lot of the exploitation of that, and the business went under. So let's implement account. I'm going to be very specific. Use Meteor accounts packages.
Victor, I think that's the new job title now, right? For the 21st century, is like you don't want to be a software engineer, you want to be a debugger, right? It's like
no, if I have to work or like a debug code done by AI, I will charge double. Because of for what I will have to go through. So and I will say, if you don't like it, give it to the AI to debug.
There's that story that's out there that says that somebody posted, I think it was on Hacker News or something, that they were using Claude AI to build something, and then after like 700 lines of code, it was like, I'm sorry, but you've got to like do this for yourself, right? And I was thinking they were using the free version, and I was thinking even AI wants to get paid. It's like, I'm not giving you any more until you like give me some money. So
I like that Windsurf, the Claude model, is telling you this approach follows Meteor best practices for code organization. That's really nice to wrap everything in an if Meteor is server, and then it's your best practice of code organization. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm writing here, the next step, let's implement user accounts, use Meteor accounts packages. We will stick to username and password authentication.
Oh, don't tell it to use the Meteor accounts package.
Okay.
Let's see if it picks it up on its own.
Oh yeah. Oh, let's see now. And now it comes up with passport npm package or something.
Yeah, or find something from Jam. It's like I'm not making fun of John. I'm just, it's just John has written so many things recently. It's just like, oh, maybe I should take the latest and greatest thing that seems to work, and let's see what happens.
So add the required packages. We need to add Meteor. It says here, yes, it has the bash thing. So
All right.
Meteor add accounts passwords, accounts
Okay.
base. The base is
Does it have
unnecessary
the
in this
accounts UI?
case. So create authentication UI components. We need login, registration, and user profile components. Set up user-rated methods and publications. Update the leaderboard to associate items with users. Okay, that's going a little bit more than I've told it to do. Add authorization units with implement rules to control who can modify leaderboard items.
Nice.
So it went and kind of started predicting the common next steps. This is kind of because it knows where to leave. So let's implement.
So for you guys out there that are coming to Meteor for the first time, have no experience whatsoever, have no JavaScript experience, you could use this as a template to give it a try. But at the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're getting. So I don't think that this gets rid of having to have knowledge about the platform that you're using, the tools that you're using. But if you do have that knowledge, it can make developing your applications faster. However, I think Kuster would point out that you want to have like that spaghetti. It's spaghetti, and this
is a small app.
What?
This is still a small app. I mean,
It's
just consider you have an app you're building in that way. You're building an application that is like becoming like, I don't know, 100 templates or 100 pages or whatever you have there. I mean, maybe it will be capable of a proper refactoring, but you need to know when it's time to tell it to refactor, and you will have to guide it. So you will not get around to attain knowledge. You will have to attain knowledge. But here's one thing. While this is printing, I would like to open up some discussion for a future episode. And that is, when I'm seeing this, then there's something missing. And that is, to me personally, and that is, I become an observer or a manager of coding, and I feel that the craft behind things gets lost a little bit. And that it takes a little bit joy away from me. That's my personal take on it. Yeah,
you're dying inside right now, aren't you? You're dying a little bit inside.
A little bit. So this is why I tell you I can't feel the vibe, because it's like, to me it feels a little bit bad. Not because I'm scared of my future, but I just do this stuff because I enjoy it. This is why I chose this as my profession, because I love to do it. And I have a little different setup. Maybe in a future episode we can take a look at how I'm doing it, because and then
absolutely.
let's see about the possible options we have here.
So Victor is asking if we know if we just upload a design picture, ask it to implement it directly, what would happen. I don't know. I don't have any experience with it. We're learning a lot right now as we're going along, Victor, and we're learning together. So that is a good suggestion. I think it's something we should probably try at another time. I don't think this is the right episode to do it in.
I would highly suggest for a future episode to do that.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, just do some screen drawings and then just pop it in there and ask it to do an implementation. Then what would happen is, like, designers don't need developers, right? It's like UX designers can just draw out their storyboards and then upload them and see.
It's not visible here anymore, but I actually they have like this MCP that you can now connect to services, and I have connection to Figma. For some reason, it's not really working for me, so I need to kind of look into that. But the theory is that should be theoretically possible. Also, Windsurf has like built-in browser, and you can visually do that. So hopefully this can finish soon, so that we can check it out what it has built here, and hopefully it will not bumble the publications again. But it started building the out UI, so see the login form, register form, user menu, And again, it does whenever it. This is like, this is a very common thing I've noticed here. Whenever it puts anything into a folder, it adds index and puts all the files into the index there, which yeah, that's like what I would call probably like a bad habit, because like even I have like a project that I have like a project where I like explicitly tell it not to do it and it still does it, so it's
maybe it does it because you told it to be a single page application, and it thinks like, okay, when it's an SPA, just throw everything in a listed import or listed export or whatever for, I don't know, visibility, or because maybe some, I've seen some PWA projects that actually do that.
Yeah.
Exactly like this. Just
I think that's might be where it's coming from. So here we have the login form.
I've seen an error.
Still working on it. Just meteor error.reason. Let's see, and we have the out page. Let's see how now it's in the CSS, so maybe it's going to the end. We have the log out. So let's see, maybe it's going to create like a multi-page thing. So let's see.
By the way, I think we exhausted our initial 20 minutes. So I think it's success with like building an app without authentication, but adding the authentication in. We're just seeing how that goes. And so how many tokens is this all using, by the way? Like, how much is this costing us?
Let me check here. This one, I think we might still be under with the premium flow action, which is the more important one. Definitely, I think we should be under 100 for right now. Yeah. So I sadly have not put down not put down how much it was before I started. So we'll have to do that. We have to do that next time. So, okay, it has here. Let's see what it looks like in here. Okay, now it wants us to register.
Okay.
So I'll just do my typical. Register.
Password, Vibecoding.
I'm here, log out. I can still add an item, and it shows it's from me. Oh, how cute.
Nice, very nice.
And I can only vote once, though.
Yeah.
The same thing for downvote. So it has added a lot.
One thing, please. Can you please open a new private tab and log in or register with another user and just see or like make these to see if the other user is seeing the actual changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move this.
So you're testing reactive behavior
as well. Yes, it's there.
Nice. Okay.
Very good. So you can build. I think the outcome of this is, at least with a simple application, you can build it using these coding assistants. And for the people that are building really simple things that have really good knowledge of MeteorJS, I think this can be a great assist in terms of your productivity. Based on what we've seen so far, we've only used Windsurf and Claude in this example. Claude is probably, I think, the leader, right? In terms
From the
of
vibes I have been hearing, that's what it is.
Yeah.
on the vibes, yes. All right. And let's see what we have from the outside here. So Victor says it's quite impressive. So yeah, I think I was quite impressed by it also.
Yeah.
I am, surprised. I think this can be a really good, useful help tool. I think we need to think about doing a more complex, original application that probably would not have a direct reference to anything that it might have slurped before, and then see just how well it does with that.
Yep.
And then we can figure out whether or not we should all just head to the beach or we can keep on coding.
Okay, let me just do here. I've asked it to create more of a space theme. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
I
Wow.
think let's just say we no longer need designers.
Oh, that's not what your designer wants to hear, Jan.
No.
I think for the simple stuff, I like my designer a lot. He's amazing. He's playing with all this AI, so I hear usually first from him. But from for these basic things, I think designers are going to do the same thing like developers move to a higher order stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you remember when fonts first came out, right, and they were available to everybody, all of a sudden everybody was using all sorts of nonsense things. Like they were using every single font. They didn't have a good design sense behind what they were using. And I think this is probably going to be also true with this. I think your point, Kuster, about spaghetti is very much on point.